morning. Good morning. Welcome to Friday. FlashBack Friday. Please enjoy some very expensive special effects. Ooh. We're in the 80s. Welcome to the 80s. I learned to crochet from my grandma. I spent a lot of time with my grandma, and my grandma was an outdoors lady. My grandma and grandpa had a victory garden in California, and they worked in the shipyards. So they were extremely frugal. They both grew up on farms in Missouri and in rural areas, and they didn't have a lot of social fun that didn't come from their family, their homestead. So during the day, we would work in the yard and tend to our chickens. And when my grandparents moved to California, they were offered a produce that they could grow and then sell back to markets. My grandparents chose oranges, navel oranges, and they had 20-30 trees, and all along the trees we had any type of produce you can imagine, and they kept the seeds year after year, and we replanted them. So we had a lot of work to do during the day, and my grandparents were older, so they were extremely patient with me, and we had routine. We'd work outside during the day, and then around dinner time we'd go in the house, and Grandma and I'd get cleaned up, and we'd make dinner, and the three of us would sit and have dinner at the kitchen table, and then we'd clean up and get pajamas on, comfy clothes. We would watch the news, and we would watch Unsolved Mysteries. And my grandma and I would craft. There was usually some animal crackers involved in the late evening, some popcorn, or a scoop of ice cream. I love my desserts. And the crafting was usually hand sewing or crocheting. The hand sewing's kind of a brief story. I had a couple of dolls, and my grandma and grandpa would buy paper towels that were reusable. They were those very thick paper towels that used to be able to rinse them and use them again and again. I can't remember the name. But when they were no longer able to be used again, I could put color crayon or marker, which I didn't have very many markers, but I could put color on them and then cut them and make doll clothes out of them. So I learned to hand sew. Not allowed to touch her fabric. My grandma made quilts or very simple patterns. And then we'd crochet. My grandma's right-handed. I'm a lefty. She'd rip out my work, have me do it again and rip it out and do it again. She believed in routine and structure, so she was insistent that I hold my hook a certain way, from right to left, and trying to mirror. She would sit in front of me. We would try that. I would sit next to her. A friend of hers gave her a little tiny pamphlet that you would pick up in the grocery store line, and there were images showing how to crochet a granny square. That was the first crocheted item that I could make from looking from the pictures on my own that sunk in, that clicked. And boy, did I make a whole lot of granny squares. I could have covered the house in granny squares. So anything that I could find that would make, that you could use a granny square for. That's why I love those little granny square slippers that I shared with you the other day. Little purses, or one big granny square purse, or of course Afghans, pillows, anything I could make out of a granny square became like my new favorite thing to do. So when I heard we were having Flashback Friday, I thought, flashback way back to the beginning of crochet. That's one beginning of my crochet journey. So my project was a combination of a few different images that I've seen. Let me show you my bag. I made a bag, a granny square bag. So this is a solid granny square. These are just solid granny squares. And then I embellished the few down. Come on, Granny. Come on, Granny. And I just stitched them together, just a single crochet. When I got to the 4 corners, I chained one and went on to the next one. My granny square bag. This is a gift for my cousin who loves purple. And I think it might be big enough for her to put her roller derby skates in there. Kim Reaper, I got something for you. And I put a nice thick single crochet straps on it. Opens nice and wide. No liner. I did a solid granny square. I didn't need a liner. So the inspiration. These little skull motifs, oh man, they're all over the internet, all different ways to make them, but their eyes weren't evil enough, or their teeth weren't pronounced enough, or it worked up too big or too small. So Steffi Glaves has the 100 motif micro crochet book. She's genius, absolutely genius. She works into the spaces between stitches instead of trying to micro into the top of the stitches. It worked perfect. I did it in a 4-weight yarn. It fit my square perfect. Awesome. The layout for this bag was on a website called Hopelessly Devoted Crochet. Links below. Of course, we have to give credit where credit is due. Designers spend a lot of time thinking, writing, filming a tutorial, putting it all together. And in this community, we're small. We're small compared to other communities, and we really need to reach out and pat people on the back. Hey, job well done. You inspired me to make this, and I appreciate your efforts. This was not 100% my brainchild, and by combining all these other little features, I've created something pretty cool. So I made that. That's my 80s flashback. And then I crocheted on and off through elementary, middle school, and high school. There were other hobbies that kicked in through there. But there was always a yarn and a hook somewhere in my messy little Amy room. And then, let's see, started really working, and the girls were born, and life was fast-paced, fast motion, no time for self. And when my son was born in 2014, my job had ended. My one career, I've had many careers, but that particular job ended. No fault of my own. The position was just no longer a position. And he was little, happened right before he was born. So we decided that I would stay home with him. And moving from a fast-paced life to slow, cuddly baby time, sleep when baby sleeps, eat when baby's sleeping, I decided that he was a very calm, sweet baby. Not like the girls. Girls were way, man, those girls were way out of control. He was a very calm baby. So I picked up my hook and my yarn and I started creating again. Did some granny squares, watched some tutorials, Bag O' Day crochet, crochet crowd, just digging in. Who's out there? What are they doing? What did I miss? And I came across a pattern for this 1920s flapper hat by Little John's Yarn. Little John's Yarn. Excellent tutorial. Oh man, she tells you from having an old dusty experience to moving into I want to create something, total patience. YouTube was incredible. It lit a fire under me with all these projects that I just had to make. I could stop it. I could pause it when I needed to tend to house. I could rewind it. I didn't get that. I don't understand that. YouTube. Little John's Yarn showed me step by step how to make this hat. And I made it. I made a couple of them. It's made like an infinity, like an, good morning, bedhead. It's made like the brim of it's made like an infinity scarf. So it attaches here and then you work around it and it tucks inside. So you start with the brim and then on the inside of it, it attaches here. So you're working this infinity scarf and then you go around, including skipping over the twist part. See that little twist part? Starting with that twist part, you make a contrast color or a band, or keep it the same if you like. Poetic justice, whatever you think works. And then she has you start working up and then she does this delicious decrease. Look at that. Oh, that's usually only found in knitting, but crochet duplication is gorgeous. So you got this nice little decrease and I worked it up in Red Heart Super Saver. Local, affordable, and I just made the one and I posted a picture on Facebook, and a co-worker of mine who had moved on to brighter future, better endeavors. Oh, did I have it on backward before? Possibly. Well, I put some really pretty buttons and accents right here on the side. She shows you how to do that. I had a bag of vintage buttons. I think I had it on backward before. Back to the story. We're in 2014. Okay, so an ex-coworker had moved on and she'd been working for a while and it was Christmas time and she had a gift exchange for her new job and she loved my hat and she asked if she could purchase 2 of them and she told me the colors. I think one was burgundy and gray and a royal blue and a black. I think she kept one for herself and put the other in the gift exchange. When I did that, it boomed. People really liked them. So they asked if I could make different style hats. So I made a few different styles and her coworkers absolutely loved them. And so I started working and then the big old pocket shawls came out. Remember the pocket shawls? I looked up different stylish granny squares for the pockets. I did the big old willow granny and I did a tree of life pocket. Oh, that one was beautiful. I'm sure there's pictures somewhere. I'm not going to dig for them today because, yeah, the editing isn't working out so great. I'll get that figured out. So with all these sales, I went and bought myself a 3-tiered craft cart. My little living room brick and mortar. And I purchased some cards with Hooked on Wishing Crochet. And that was it. 2014 was the beginning of all this fun, all this excitement, all this creativity. It's been wonderful. I've made so many friends and I've met so many people, had so many different interactions that stay-at-home moms usually, you know, that's the struggle, being two different people at one time. Crochet helped. Crochet was a very positive thing in my life. And yeah, that's what happened. It was the beginning. I've made a lot of different things, and I always try to take pictures of everything. And I always try to give credit, especially on the YouTube videos. Try to let everybody know, hey, if you like this, I recommend it. It's an amazing pattern. The tutorial's incredible. Here's the link. Go give some watch hours. Go give it a try and create. Go do it. I also believe in mashing up patterns. That doesn't necessarily make it mine, but there's definitely a lot of inspiration out there, and let's do it all. Let's make it all. I'm working on a few hats. We have a trip coming up in next week. It's opening crab season here in California off the coast. So we will be going to the coast for the weekend. And I realized that all the hats that I made last year to keep my family warm and cozy, they're out of style. So I've been working on quite a few different hats to take. I did follow the crochet crowd, the peak cap. I like that one. It's got a nice little brim that sticks out and it folds back on the sides, and you put two little buttons so it's a little fancy, a little glamorous. And then I'm working on just a regular beanie type. I've seen it on Bag O' Day Crochet, where it's just half doubles, and you just go really long, fold it in, cinch the top. My son really likes those. What else? Oh, I have a couple of knit beanies for the girls to wear. And yeah, so I pulled this one out. This might be my crab eating hat. So that'll be fun. And of course, I'll take you guys with me. There'll be some beautiful scenery along the way. I'm digging deep. I'm not sure if I want to take knitting or crochet. Kind of think I just want to take crochet. It's a little bit more mindless for me, and I can look out into the scenery and watch the water and watch the waves come in and out and the tides flow. It's also something I can set crochet down and then pick it up later. Knitting takes my full focus. So I think I'm going to put together a little project bag. I want to print out the pattern. Very little internet on the coast. Print out a pattern, get my hook, get some yarn, and a big, cozy, comfy chair. That sounds like a good weekend. Please come back and visit me. I'll post, definitely take video clips and stuff to show you from when I get back. Tomorrow is Saturday, so I'm going to pop some popcorn and tell you about a really good movie that I like. Kind of a mashup. Thank you for visiting with me today. It was very nice seeing you, and I hope you're tangled up in yarn somewhere, cozy, warm. It's getting chilly now. Bye, friend. Take care.